The unwanted spring. In a quiet, dust-covered village tucked deep within rural Afghanistan, a woman bore the weight of generations on her shoulders. Her name was Zainab. Life in this corner of the world moved slowly, cut off from the noise of cities, the rush of modern life, and especially from the freedoms most would take for granted. Here, tradition was law, and Zainab lived at its mercy. She had already given birth to two beautiful, innocent girls with eyes full of wonder. However, daughters were a disappointment rather than a blessing in her world. Her husband, a man hardened by culture and control, had expressed his dissatisfaction clearly. His hands spoke louder than his words ever could. Zainab desperately wanted peace. She longed for a home where love could flourish instead of fear. So, when she found herself preparing for pregnancy a third time, her only prayer was that this time God would bless her with a son, not for herself, but to end the cruelty, to survive. With no doctors or science to turn to, she turned to the village women, old wives with old tales. They whispered strange remedies. "Eat sour fruits," one said. "Sleep on your right side," said another. "Avoid sweets. Talk to the moon." And so she did as she was instructed. She consumed unripe apricots until her lips puckered from bitterness. She adhered to every superstition, hoping it would alter her fate. When she finally became pregnant, her heart filled with life and hope. This time, she believed she would bear a son. They say my mother, Zainab, prayed every single night for a son. Not because she didn't want me, but because she feared the world I was about to enter. In our small village, sons were light, daughters were burdens. She had already brought two girls into this world, and each time she paid for it in pain. Not the pain of childbirth, but the pain of her husband's disappointment, the silence, the anger, the shame. So when she became pregnant again, she clung to hope like a drowning woman clings to driftwood. She ate sour fruits because the old village women told her it would help. She whispered prayers into her pillow. She listened to every tale, every superstition, and every hopeful prediction. Her belly grew rounder, and the whispers around her grew louder. "This time it's a boy," they said. "She's carrying lower. Look how round it is." Even my father started to believe. He was so certain I would be a son that he invited all his friends to the house on the day of my birth. He lit cigarettes with shaking hands and poured tea into small glass cups while they laughed and waited, preparing to celebrate the arrival of a future man. But behind the closed door of a dim room, lit only by a flickering lantern, my mother screamed. Surrounded by women, she endured hours of pain, fought for a dream that wasn't meant to come true. And then I came into the world. Not a son, a daughter. A quiet hush fell over the room. The women looked at one another. Some shook their heads, while others sighed. Outside that room, my father was still smiling, waiting to hear the bad news. My name is Bahar, and it means spring. However, I was born into a winter that was far colder than what seasons could ever explain.